good morning. Here we are. I'm Reverend Elisha, and we are here at Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Cruz. So grateful that you're here this morning. So grateful to those of us who are in the building and to all our friends out there on the internet land, on YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom. Thanks for being here. We're glad you're here this morning. We have a lovely service this morning planned for you. I want to remind you that we are here in the Live Oak District of Santa Cruz and that we honor the fact that our land is on the ancestral land of the Ama Mutsun tribal band. And so we'd just like to acknowledge that and bring that into our awareness. Our theme for the month is a pause for guidance, which I know for myself is greatly appreciated. And we have a song of the month we've been using all month called Building a New Way from the UU Universal Choir. And so let's get down with the UU Universal Choir, Building a New Way.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We can feed on every need. Every need. We can feed on every need. Every need. We can feed on every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed on every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, our world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. A new way, a new way, a new
Speaking of building a new way, we're about to do something really cool. So good morning, I'm Debbie Bratby. I'm the president of the CSL Board of Trustees here at the Center. It's my great pleasure to announce that on Thursday, August 19th, your CSL Board of Trustees voted unanimously to offer Reverend Elisha Christopher a letter of contract to be our new senior minister and spiritual leader. I am equally pleased to say that Reverend Elijah accepted our offer and signed the letter of contract as our formal employment agreement with him. As most of you know, it was approximately 2 months ago that Reverend Alice told us that she had been called to another community in Capistrano Valley, a CSL community, after serving as our minister for the past 4 years. In her letter to our community, she talked about her bittersweet departure being part of the new story that our community is co-creating. For those of you who were here at the community meeting on August 1st, you heard Reverend Elijah outline his vision for our center. Everyone gave an informal, unanimous thumbs up for his selection. Reverend Elisha will officially begin his contract on September 1st and will speak to us on that first Sunday, September 5th, as our new senior minister. To recognize and thank Reverend Alice for her wonderful leadership of our center, we will be hosting a farewell gathering 1 week from today on Sunday after the service. We hope you'll be there to celebrate her departure with us. It won't be goodbye, it'll be see you later. I'm very excited about all the possibilities of this new chapter in the life of our center. And please join me in welcoming our new senior minister, Reverend Elisha Christopher.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that wonderful announcement. I'm so excited. We have a big road ahead of us, my friends, and there's a lot to explore, and it's a time of turning, you know? We are going to move into our time of spiritual practice this morning. We're going to begin with our centering statement that we have here for our community, and we have that last line, that little blank at the end, and we invite you to contemplate what is the quality that you want to just choose as a practice to respond to life with, whether it's love or joy or understanding or whatever your particular focus is, and fill it in at the end of this statement. We're going to read this together. So if you will, take a deep breath. Here we go. We are a spiritually progressive community that transforms lives and the world through a philosophy of possibility thinking and responding to life with enthusiasm. Hey. And so we're going to move into our time of spiritual practice. I am also your practitioner of the day, so we'll go into a moment of prayer and contemplation over a quote. We'll have some music, and then we get to hear Reverend Alice's, in a sense, this is her last talk today. And so we get to just spend some time with our beloved spiritual leader and really honor the last 4 years and really hear the wisdom that she has to give to us today. So we're going to begin with prayer. So if you will, take a deep breath in. And first, let's contemplate these words from Bhagavan Sri Ramanan Maharishi. God illuminates the mind and shines within it. One cannot know God merely by means of the mind. One can but turn the mind inwards and merge with God. So take another breath in. And let go. And take another deep breath. And let it go. And as you breathe in again, let us each breathe into the awareness that we are indeed being breathed by something greater than ourselves. That we are being breathed by God. That we are being lived by the universe. That indeed there is one seamless presence that is living and breathing throughout the entirety of existence. This one is eternal, this one is infinite, this one is all-loving, this one is all-knowing. And yet somehow, the infinitude, the magnitude, the glory of that one is awake, alive, and aware in, through, and as each one of us. That we are the place where God shows up, that we are the universe in miniature, that we are evolution unfolding, that we are each creation happening right here. And so let us just recognize that everything that is unfolding in every moment, in every situation, across all time and space is part of this one. And so we come together into this place, into community, to celebrate, to remember, to be reminded of this truth of our common unity. And so let us come into this shared space of mind, of collective focus, to be uplifted, to be inspired, to be reminded of the truth of who we are. And I just speak a word of blessing over this morning's activities, over every word, every note, every song, every breath. Let us just be inspired and remember how much we have to celebrate, how much there is to be grateful for, how blessed we truly are. So that we can remember once again that there is indeed a power for good in this universe so much greater than we are, and if we so choose, we can remember that it can lead us, it can carry us, that we can flow, that we can grow together. And so in the spirit of these words, let us just acknowledge them as truth by saying, and so it is. Thank you.
I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am a blessing manifest, and I can undress the moment, naked time unwinds me. My mind and from within, I find that kind of beauty only I can find. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am surrendering so willingly to be the perfect me inside this now and truly. How else could it be? Destiny, she blesses me. Destiny, she blesses me. And when I try to fight or run, I only wind up back at square one. And when I think I know what's best for me, fate, she takes me back to exactly where I need to be. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am divinely timed and shining brightly. Yes, I believe that there's a purpose just for me. Yes, I believe that we are light and we shine infinitely. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am not aimlessly existing. See, I am in perfect harmony with universal energy, and I am truly free when I accept my own divinity. Look at me closely. Tell me exactly what you see. If you are paying attention, you will now begin ascension of the mind. Why? Because if you look at me just right, you will see a kiss. For it took a kiss to make this breath exist. The intersection of my mother's and father's lips to touch, twist, perfect what came next to produce me. As look at me and you will see the breeze. The breeze it took to shake the leaves to make my mother's hair move. My father dare touch it and say, please may I have a kiss. Yes, the breeze made me exist. And if you want to get even deeper into this right now, you will look at me and see a big old cloud. That's right, the cloud it took to form the storm, to make the breeze, to shake the leaves, to inspire the lip lock. Yes, a raindrop will pop up out these words. You heard me right. If you look at me close enough, you will see a dark, stormy night. And what is night? Well, night ain't night without a polar opposite of sunlight. So if you watch the way my hands sway, you'll see the light of day. And every day is a testament to the sediment of the earth's core, ever spinning enormous force. So when you look at me just right, you'll see a spark of the source. But the most fascinating thing about this, and it's true, is that if you look at me just right, you see you. Only what you perceive, how you believe, the space between you and me that creates reality. So when I sing, you can feel it. When I cry, you can heal it. When I speak words, you can be the words I speak by singing with me. Peace, love, free. 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 And when I try to fight or run, I only wind up back at square one. And when I think I know what's best for me, fate, she takes me back to exactly where I need to be. And when I am alone and full of fear, I just remember the rising sun always appears. And every day miracles, miracles that I see. Will you take me back? You take me back, you take me back, you take me back to exactly where I need to. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am a blessing manifest.
Thank you, Amy Steinberg. And I love that song because she talks about being exactly where we need to be and that we are absolutely held in the hand of God, if you will. And so I'm really excited about this wonderful announcement that we started our service with. This is really stunning and wonderful for this community. And this technically is my last talk with you as your spiritual director. And I'm so glad that you could be with us either in the house here or on Zoom or YouTube or one of those other places on the interweb that we have been using over these last year and a half to try to be in this new normal of being together, either in person or someplace else. And I'm with Elijah, I'm really appreciating this call to pause for guidance, because there is so much that is happening right now as we move through this transition, and it's that pause for guidance that helps me to stay grounded, to be able to recognize what it is that needs to happen in front of me. I've had several people ask me if are you excited? Are you scared? You know, what's going on? And I actually really gave me a little pause because I had to think about it. And that was the problem. I was thinking. I wasn't necessarily feeling, because there's a lot to do when you move from one part of the country, even though it's still in California, to another. It's 400 miles away. And there's a lot on my to-do list, and it's been keeping me from feeling. So this idea of pausing is really powerful. And the theme this week is really about trusting your inner wisdom. And I like to play with this idea around GPSs. Have you ever thought about how a GPS actually works? Maybe you just punch it into your device or your car, and then the next thing you know, you're where you needed to arrive. And I think when we're working with our inner wisdom, it works kind of like that. We decide where it is we want to be. We set some intentions, and we have these affirmations, and we get clear within ourselves, and then we allow our GPS, that inner GPS, or the God positioning system, to help us move forward. We, as a student of this particular philosophy, you're probably well aware that ours is to determine the what, not the how. Ours is to determine the what, not the how. And what that means is that it's important for us to be clear about what it is that is important to us, what it is that we want to set before us as a goal or as a destination, and then to just turn it over to that GPS. And that takes courage, right? It takes courage and faith. And it is a spiritual practice in and of itself to really set a course for ourselves and then to begin to walk that out one step at a time. I remember hearing Dr. Candace Beckett talk about the walking along our spiritual journey in that path, and how we put one foot in front of the other, and sometimes we can only see the 6 feet in front of us. Sometimes that's all you get. All you get is that general direction, and you have to just put one foot in front of the other so that you can continue to move in that direction of where it is, that destination that you have decided for yourself. One of my very favorite quotes is Socrates' quote, where the student asks Socrates, "How do I get to Mount Olympus?" And Socrates just looks at the student and says, "Just be sure every step is in that direction." And that is really what it takes. And sometimes when we put something out before ourselves, whether it's a new job or, dealing with a diagnosis or, changing relationships, whatever it is that's in transition for you, sometimes the big picture can be overwhelming. But we just need to put one foot in front of the other and move in that direction and trust and have faith that we are guided. And so this month in August, as both some of us personally are moving through big transitions, Elijah, myself, your leadership here, and possibly you have your own transition that's come up for you. I think that tends to happen when you are in spiritual community with each other. Oftentimes our path will reflect one another. And this community itself is in this transition period. And so I'm really encouraging you in this next week as we walk this out. We've been talking about it for a couple of months, I know. But we're walking it out now. And so as we walk it out, I encourage you to take that time to pause, to check in with your inner guidance system. And as I was thinking about coming up here to talk to you about this inner guidance system and this idea of trusting our wisdom as we walk things out, I was reflecting on the last 4 years and how I got to this point, in this moment, right now. And what I can tell you is that there was a point in my ministry where I was doing just this. I was pausing. I was looking at where I was with my ministry and on my journey, and I thought about my intentions and looked and said to myself, was it time to make a little adjustment? This doesn't seem to be exactly where I thought I would be, and do I need to make a course correction? And then your beautiful invitation of a sacred covenant landed before me. And the next thing I knew, I was moving across the country. And that was after 45 years of living in Maryland. So what I want to say about intentions and this idea of setting a course for ourselves is that sometimes it makes no sense on the surface. It looks a little crazy. It looks a little like, oh my God, really? That's a big move. But there was an inner guidance that brought me here, that brought me to this community. And I had some beautiful intentions that were really met here in this community over the last 4 years. And as I reflect on that, I was also reflecting on the journey that we have been on together. You know, the first year, when I arrived here officially in October of 2017, but my first time with you was in August of 2017. And when I arrived here, the first year that I was with you, it was a time for us to get to know each other, a time for us to begin to build trust. You had not had a minister for a while, and you'd had some rocky relationships with ministers I want to say recent, but it wasn't recent. It was over a long period of time. And so I knew that that first year was really about building those deep roots of trust and getting to know each other. And by the time we got to the fall of 2018, we began our, I've referred to them in the past as Adventures in Faith. We call it a pledge program, but it's an opportunity for us to go deeper with our spiritual practice, to really pause and to set a course for the next year. And so our first pledge program that we worked on together was a program around purpose, yours, mine, and ours. And we began to look at purpose, and we began to look at what was our why. What was it that brought us together? Why were we a spiritual community, and what were we doing with each other? And we had some fun things. We determined that the part of our why was the love that we felt for each other. Part of our why was being able to work together and to have those loving and trusting relationships and to deepen that. And so in that year we rolled into 2019, and we did our first divine dining. Do you remember that? Who had crab cakes with me? Right? Who had game night with me? And then we made rocks with Kaylee and had hikes and barbecues and all these wonderful little groups that came together to deepen that idea of connecting with community. It was beautiful. And it was absolutely an outgrowth of that program in the fall. And then in 2019, we began to look at our next pledge program and spiritual program that we were working with, and we came up with this idea of thriving together. We determined that that's what we wanted to do, that this community has had a reputation of being the little community that could. And we thought, oh, it's time to break that old mold of being the little community that could, and it's time for us to really thrive. And we moved through that period, and we came to this idea that it was time for a new story. And so that's what we set our intention for. And March rolled around in 2020, and it seems like not only this community, but the world needed a little bit of shaking up. So we had ourselves a global pandemic. And we had to change everything we did and how we did it. And you were gracious and supportive, and we created new teams that we'd been only talking about up until then. And we began to find new ways to connect and be in community. It's been quite a year, and when we came to the 2020 Pledge Program and looked at what it is we wanted to do the deep dive around, we knew that it was time to really do some deep appreciation. And so that was the Because of You campaign, where we had in the previous year, had done that wonderful homecoming where we celebrated our legacy members, and we were 55 years old in 2019, and in 2020, we celebrated our now. We celebrated exactly where we were. And it seems like March is the time when whatever we're doing in the fall kicks in, because that was the time for me to do a little more regrouping. And I looked at those intentions that I had set when I came here, and you had helped me meet most of those. I wanted to be in a community that really loved each other and was connected. And I wanted to be in a community that was interested in collaborative and shared leadership. And I wanted to be in a community that was absolutely vibrant with technology and the ways that we could reach out. And all of those intentions were met. It was pretty amazing. But there were a few on my list that I didn't quite happen. I was still a part-time minister here, and I'd had a goal about being a full-time minister in 2022. And so another invitation came forward. And it was such a little step. All I did was apply. And then it was like, have you ever watched those videos where the dominoes are all set up in these amazing patterns, and somebody just walks up and pushes the first domino over, and then everything just rolls out? It's kind of how it's been this last 6 months. I would love to tell you that I have orchestrated this amazing transition, but all I have done, the only thing I had to do, was make a choice. To decide, to get clear about my intention, and then to walk it out in faith. That's living this philosophy, and that is how it works. And I will, to be honest, sometimes the transitions that we face are uncomfortable. They make us uneasy. We have to get out of our comfort zone. Sometimes they're painful. But if we're clear, and that's the spiritual practice that we do, getting clear. When we're clear, when we create that deep clarity within our soul and our body temple, it's like the Spirit sifting through it just shows up. And I have had that experience over and over again, and I really trust it. And so here we stand on the threshold of another transition. This fall, Reverend Elijah will lead you through some more programming. You'll set some intentions as a community. You'll begin to really look at what it looks like to inhabit a new story. And that's very exciting for me to watch us do this. And although I didn't want to admit this, I've realized that I was not the person to take you into the newness. And so I know without a doubt that Reverend Elijah is that person to take you into your next yet to be, and that it is just as wonderful as the experiences we've had in the past, but it'll be new, and it'll build on the legacy of the past, and it'll build on the power of the now. And it'll be what you all bring to it. My invitation for you as we walk this last week out, my sincere invitation to you is to really do some soul searching and some pausing about what it is you want in spiritual community. And then to support your new spiritual leader. Support him with your time and your love and your treasure. Support him with your ideas and your creativity, because I know he's got the energy and the enthusiasm. I know that he's got the power. I want you to recognize this is the part that's really hard for us, because the world is forever putting out a message to us of what it wants for you. It's always putting out some kind of a vibration, what it wants for you. But it's our job to look away from whatever it is, the noises out there, and to allow what really wants to happen by means of you. It has to come through you. I found this really, really great quote from an Indian professor in India, not a Native American Indian, but a woman in India whose name is Vidya Hatagandhi, and she says this: human beings have 5 senses: sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. Spirituality is the ability to recognize that there is intelligence beyond the 5 senses. There is universal power that creates and governs everything within and beyond the worlds we know. And that power is omnipresent. We can surrender to this supreme intelligence through our awareness. We call this universal power by different names as per our individual faith practices. Spirituality makes things easier for us to go through the life's journey with all its ups and downs, and makes our lives happier. And I would add that it connects the dots, that it really shows us how to inhabit our 5 senses from a holistic place, from a complete place where they're all working together. And that is when we are aligned with our intention and we walk it out. It takes all of us. It takes all of us individually. It takes all of us as a community to really shift consciousness, to really inhabit change that is being called forth from the world right now. So my invitation to you is to investigate your intentions and to really inhabit your faith. Because when those 2 things meet, they become one, and then they manifest. I'm very excited for you as you walk out this next phase as a community, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the future brings. And I thank you for allowing me to be your spiritual leader for this brief time. I know that I was exactly where I needed to be, with the right people, in the right time, at the right space. And I trust that that beautiful vibration that we have created together of love and caring and connection and deep faith in this philosophy is only going to birth newness and possibility, and it's up to you. So thank you for letting me love you, and thank you for loving me back, and for being part of this community with me. It has been a highlight of my life. Thank you. And so I get to pray with you, because that's where it all happens. So let's do that right now. Let's take an inner breath that brings us back into that inner alignment with our soul, with our heart, with our mind, knowing that we are absolutely present with that one power and presence that is forever expressing itself in a myriad of ways. And so I know that each one here absolutely is connected with God, with Spirit, with that thing that makes the grass grow, and that each one of us is allowing to rise up through our consciousness, through our experience, through our minds and our hearts. We're allowing whatever it is that is ours to do to walk out through this transition. I know that that is coming forward, and that we are rising up to this wonderful occasion. And so I know as we rise up individually, we rise up together, and we together walk out our new story boldly, with courage, with faith, and with clarity. And that each one does their part, and that collectively we create. And we continue to change lives and be open to possibility and trust in the love that is so rich and deep here among us, between us, for ourselves, for our community. And I know that it is love that makes the way possible. It is love that illuminates, even if it's only those next few steps, so that we are always guided, we are always guarded, we are always directed. And it is with this deep faith and trust that I know this truth for myself, I know this truth for this community, I know this truth for your new spiritual leader, Elijah Christopher. I know this truth as it ripples outward into the Santa Cruz community, and that all are lifted up. So my prayer is that we simply move forward, that we allow ourselves to be used, and we use this power that is forever present, that is always carrying us forward, that always knows the way how that we can't quite see. And so it is in deep faith and gratitude that I simply anchor this prayer in the law, and it is the law that makes it so. So it is with a grateful heart that we simply anchor this prayer by saying together, and so it is.
Oh, melodies in your head play over and over, listening to doubt about how life has turned out. I'm here to tell you it's not over, not over. Time to rise again. It's your time now. Remember who you are. You are wise and you are strong. Always all right all along. You will get up and I know you will carry on. Yeah, carry on. Come on. Carry on. Come on. Carry on. You will carry on. Get up. Yeah. Get up. You will carry on. Get up. Get up. Come on. Carry on. Get up. Get up. Get up. You will carry on. Carry on.
And that's Amy Steinberg. Let us share in reading aloud our abundance affirmation today. Take a deep breath. Let's read this together. I open myself to receive great prosperity, health, and healing. Gratefully, I receive the gift that I am seeking. I accept my good and send it on to bless all humanity. I am thankful to be so richly supplied and so able to serve. I am fully blessed, and so it is. And so, we first got to start by saying thank you. First to our tech team, that is Susan Pankratz, Nancy Laskagian, and Maggie Dreyer, and also Reverend Alice. Thank you for all the things you do in the background to make our scene, to make our show happen, to make the sound good, to make all the technology run. We're so incredibly grateful. And I also want to say thank you to you for being here in the building, to all of you on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. Thanks for being here. It would be a whole lot less fun if we were doing this by ourselves. We also want to just say thank you in advance to our CSL sustainers and to all of those who contribute to keep this place alive. There are many ways to give. If you're in the building, we've replaced the brass bowl with a new ceramic bowl in the back of the room, and that bowl is there to receive your good, our good, your good, so it's there for you. If you are not here, you can always mail a check, you can text to give, you can scan the screen with your phone and just follow the QR code into the internet to a payment portal. So there's lots of ways to give. We're so incredibly grateful for all of your support and all the ways that it comes. We really care about each other, and that's why we're wearing masks in the building. We do know that things are shifting always with COVID, and at the moment, the best recommendation is we all wear masks inside, and so we're doing so in this building because we love and care for each other and want to keep each other safe. So let's keep doing it. Thank you. Our beloved practitioner, Sky Leona, is leading a spiritual living circle, which is a discussion group. She meets in the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month from 1 to 2:30 right over here in the social hall. And she has a really lively, lovely group of people who are meeting every other week, and it runs off the Science of Mind magazine and some of the discussions on the articles and the daily readings in there. So please join Sky on the second and fourth Wednesdays here in the building for a little discussion time. Next week is what we are calling our Calling In Ritual, and this is going to be all about calling in what's next. And so it's going to be our Sunday service next week. Reverend Alice and myself will be sharing the talk space, and we'll be sort of doing a co-talk as my first and her last overlap. And it's going to be a really special Sunday. We want to engage some ceremony and celebration in that. We're also going to have the sort of launch send-off gathering outside on the grounds as we celebrate Alice after service next week. So be here next week. It's going to be a big transition Sunday. And I just want to say how rarely in Centers for Spiritual Living transitions like this happen. Oftentimes there's a big gap and a whole lot of process and a whole lot of stuff that has to happen in order to find a new minister. And you at this community have been through it before. You know this. And so I just want to honor the beauty of this transition that we are getting to witness and participate in here in this community as what we'll call a peaceful transition of power. And so, of course, you are invited always to join us live on Sundays. You can be here in the building, which is the most fun, but you can also be here on YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom, and you can also catch this on all those locations in the future because it's there on YouTube and Facebook. So if you find this inspiring or useful, share it with a friend, repost it on your page, send it to someone who you think might need it. We have a meditation before the service that meets in the back garden. Cheryl has been hosting that space. It's at 10 o'clock. The back garden is an incredibly lovely space. If you haven't spent much time back there, I highly recommend coming early on a Sunday and just taking 20 minutes to sit in that beautiful space. You can hear the seagulls. It's a very quiet, sort of atmospheric space, and it's a really sweet space to sit in quiet contemplation for those who've been doing it. I was out back there last week and really appreciated the space, and I invite you to do the same. We always have the talk after the talk for those who are not here in person and those who are on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, you're already there, and I'll be joining you in a few minutes. I will be on the talk after the talk today, and we spend about a half an hour just connecting in virtual space, maintaining community, and talking a little bit about what we got out of the service. And for those who are physically here, Reverend Alice will be outside, and we can hang out, fellowship, gather, conversate, communicate, be together out in the garden for a little while for some social time after service. It's a great opportunity to just give some appreciation to each other, to Reverend Alice, and just be together. We have a lovely, lovely outside space. Let's enjoy it. And so we have the talk after the talk, beginning in just a couple minutes. We have meditation before service in the back garden. Next week is our calling in ritual with myself and Reverend Alice. And I'm so grateful that you are here. And once again, just a reminder to be here next week for our calling in ritual and our celebration of Reverend Alice's send-off into her great next yet to be will be next week after service. Thanks, everyone. Happy Sunday. Have a beautiful week.